the minority on this one, but here's why. We spend so much time once these rookie quarterbacks start second-guessing whether teams should have taken them when they struggle. Because a lot of these teams picking at the top of the draft aren't in a good position to support a young quarterback. EJ, you just talked about that. Something that the Giants obviously know all too well. I look at this Saints roster. They're not ready for a quarterback. I mean, the offensive line, you need help potentially at the tackle position in particular. The wide receiver group, Chris Olave is great. He's been battling with injury, so they still have to add there, I believe. Running back, you need depth behind Alvin Kamara as he enters the back part of his career. And then that defense needs talent at all three levels. They need to get younger. So I feel if they take a quarterback at 9, they are not putting him in a position to succeed. I really believe that. And I don't think it's best for them or for Shedeur Sanders.
I'm not arguing with that football analysis at all, and I get where you're coming from. I just have a problem with the fact that Shedeur Sanders is coming out of college, and it's him and it's Cam Ward mentioned as the top 2 quarterbacks, and all of a sudden you're contemplating him being taken 3rd to fall in the 6th to the Giants, to 9 to New Orleans, now to 21 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on here? Did something happen? This precipitous drop-off is what has alarmed me more so than anything else. The Saints have a lot of needs, like you said. You take the best player available, or you might find yourself willing to trade down just to get additional picks to help you because of the multitude of needs that you may have. But, EJ, I'm just of the mindset you're a former quarterback. I don't like how somebody can produce on a collegiate level. We haven't seen them since, and over the course of months, they just continue to fall and fall and fall. I'm like, where the hell is that coming from? That alarms me.
Yeah, well, I do disagree here with Mina. I believe the Saints, if Shedeur's there at 9, you got to take him. Because look at the situation, Mina. Derek Carr potentially may not even be able to play this year. So I don't think Kellen Moore, who's the new head coach there in New Orleans, is going to start the season with either Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner. I think Ben DiNucci also is still on that roster. And I just feel more confident you bring in somebody like a Shedeur who you believe can be your future quarterback. And how many times have we seen Kellen Moore also coach young quarterbacks? He's had success with Jalen Hurts. He's had success with Justin Herbert. He's coached a bunch of these different guys. So I think at that spot, if Shedeur's still there, and then as far as the slide too, Stephen, I think that's partly because of just the teams that need a quarterback right now that are kind of hungry for a QB. It's not necessarily indicative of the talent or the lack thereof that Shedeur. I think he's a top 5 value type pick. I think he's that good. I can justify taking him that high. I just don't think a team like the Giants who are in the top 5 that need a quarterback should. But certainly New Orleans taking him there at 9 would make a lot of sense to me.
All right, we'll leave it there, guys. Obviously,
they could take up residency there for all we know, and they have all the information. But I think they're trying to see if they can get everybody on the same page to see how they feel, to see if and where they should take Shedeur Sanders.
Brady, I think that's exactly right. And you bootstrap what Adam said. You have a whole nother year of film to look at, so you have all the information. To me, my experience tells me they're doing these workouts now to get alignment, to finalize their strategy. And EJ said it an hour ago. If there's a great player at the top of the draft, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carr, you take him. The question is, where can you get Shedeur Sanders? I know Mel has him as his #1 quarterback, but with the new news about what's going on in New Orleans, with Pittsburgh's uncertainty with the quarterback position, Adam's word about cute has to turn into strategic. How do we come out of the first round?
That's a better word.
With a quarterback and a great player.
Absolutely.
So
you can get one in the second round.
That's the point. So Mel, let me not gloss over something that you just said quickly, because not everybody follows every day of this. We have people who get up early in the morning and watch. Mel, who is the #1 quarterback, for those who don't know, on your draft board in this class?
I'm going to go down fighting on Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to tell you, he fits what I like in a quarterback. Talk about decision-making accuracy. 2 key categories. He checks the box, A+. So I think Shedeur Sanders, to me, with what he had to deal with, think about it, guys, no offensive line. An offensive line, Ole block after Ole block. Running game, right? They're leading rusher. The last 2 years, Amarian Hampton and Ashton Genty had more rushing yards in a game and a half than they did the entire year. So he didn't have the benefit of the complementary running game, didn't have guys who could block up front, yet here he was out there never complaining, not getting hurt, not pointing fingers, and completing 70% of his passes and not throwing many interceptions, not turning it over, and just being a great leader and winning football games. So for Shedeur, hey, I know you got to protect him. You got to protect Brady when he came out. We knew that. That's why he was a late 6th-round pick. Bottom line is Shedeur Sanders, to me, we'll see. If he gets past the Giants, which looks like he will, New Orleans at 9. I said about Breeze when he came out. He needed conditions to be favorable. Wind, Arm strength, not great. Where'd he go? Chargers, then the Saints. What happened to the Saints? He wins the Super Bowl, right? That's where Shedeur needs to go. I think New Orleans, they haven't taken a quarterback in 54 years. Take Shedeur Sanders at 9. If he gets past there, it gets interesting because does Pittsburgh wait it out? Do the Giants or Cleveland like him enough to go up ahead of Pittsburgh? Denver sitting at 20. I don't think they move because if Amari and Hampton's there, you take the running back. Strategy's key. It's going to be really interesting to see. And is Tyler Shuck and Jalen Milroe close enough to Shedeur that Cleveland and the Giants say, hey, we don't have to go get Shedeur. We just have to go up a little bit, maybe into the late first, get Tyler Shuck or Jalen Milroe.
There you go.
Mel, let me say this. Today, and I reserve the right to change my mind tomorrow because these things are fluid and it is the draft, as you know. But it doesn't sound like the Saints are in on Shedeur Sanders at this point. It sounds like they like him, but don't love him. It sounds like they'd look at him, but wouldn't ultimately pick him at 9. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm reading and hearing from the people I'm talking to, that Shedeur wouldn't necessarily be the pick at number 9. And if he's not the pick at 9 and he's not the pick at 3, okay, well, where is he now going? And we're back to the most intriguing storyline of the draft. Does a team trade up, or does Shedeur Sanders slide to 21 and the Pittsburgh Steelers? I think those are the scenarios we're looking at right now.
Let me get my QB in here today. So you hear Mel say that Shedeur Sanders is his number 1. Again, that is not the consensus. We expect Cam Ward to go number 1, and that he is number 1 on most of the boards that I've seen. But when you hear Mel talk about the things that make Shedeur Sanders good, here's just my opinion. You know this 1,000 times better than I do. Those are all the things that make an NFL quarterback good.
Absolutely.
Timing, anticipation, toughness, leadership, all the other stuff is what gets teams in trouble. It's what winds up, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it's the reason that Anthony Richardson and the guy who went to 3, Trey Lance, they have all these traits. They have all this uncoachable stuff. The problem is they don't play the quarterback. This guy plays quarterback. So at minimum, I know I've got that. That's what I like about Shedeur Sanders.
What offensive coordinators want, guys, are guys who can make good decisions and be accurate with the football.
That's it.
And that's exactly what Shedeur Sanders can bring to a football team. The other part, and I remember calling a friend of mine who's a scout for one of the teams that actually needed quarterback, and I asked him about Shedeur Sanders. The first thing he said was, he's a dog. And when I hear a guy like that, and again, I respect his opinion. I know what he means by saying that. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. He was been sacked a whole bunch of times, but he just kept staying in that pocket, kept dealing and giving his receivers opportunities to make plays. I love this pick at 9. I agree with Mel. I think this is a perfect spot for him. Whether Derek is able to come back or not, we don't know. But you can't pass up an opportunity to take Shedeur Sanders if he's there at 9, especially considering DC's health right now.
And EJ, the other word I would add is he's durable. He's been sacked 94 times and he's missed 1 game. When you look at the last 2 years in the NFL, 2 years ago, 66 quarterback start a game. Last year, 59. So everything that EJ and Mel said, I would add his toughness and durability, which to me, when you think about the resources from a cap standpoint you put into a quarterback, guys, a critical factor in 2025 in evaluating a quarterback is his ability to start and play 17 games.
And guys, also the pedigree. His dad's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is a young man that grew up around this deal. Him going to a franchise and being a starting quarterback is not going to be overwhelming for him. There's not really going to be anything that's going to be too shocking or surprising to him. So I think that also adds value and gives it more reason to take him early in the top 10.
So let me be clear. We've got his pedigree. We've got Mel Kiper saying he's the best quarterback in this draft. And here we're wondering and